Good morning to everyone. Today we are going to learn about the molecular orbital theory. That means how the atomic orbitals can overlap to give the molecular orbital, or how a molecule can be generated from different atomic orbitals. Then we will learn about the principle of molecular orbital theory. Actually, the principles of molecular orbital theory directly it will come from the molecular orbital theory. That means based on what principle we can estimate or we can understand the molecular orbital theory. Then we will learn about the bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Then bond order, that means how strongly the atoms are bonded in a molecule, or how the what is the interaction, how strongly the atomic orbitals are interacted with each other. And finally we will have the idea about the factors that determine orbital interaction. And lastly we will have some molecular orbital diagram for homogeneous and heterogeneous molecules, like as oxygen and nitric oxide. Oxygen is a homogeneous molecule and nitric oxide is an heterogeneous or heteronucleus molecule. So let's see. First of all, I would like to show you what are the limitations of valence bond theory, because if the valence bond theory can explain everything, then we don't need to have any more new theories. Therefore, valence bond theory has some limitations. Therefore, we need to find out another theory that can explain most of the things. Therefore, scientists have developed new theory because valence bond theory has some limitations. That means the valence bond theory cannot explain several things, such as the paramagnetic character of some molecules, like as oxygen. That means from valence band theory cannot explain the paramagnetic character of oxygen or similar molecules. Why that cannot? Because valence band theory expresses that any molecule having even number of electrons are diamagnetic. That means which is repelled by the external magnetic field. Oxygen molecule, or first we consider oxygen atom. Oxygen atom has total 8 electrons, 6 electrons in the outermost shell. So for bonding we will consider about the outermost shell electrons. So oxygen has 6 electrons in the outermost shell. So when oxygen molecule is formed, it will have 12 electrons in the outermost shell. Therefore it has the even number of electrons. From valence band theory we know that if any molecule have even number of electrons, that will show the diamagnetic characteristics. Therefore, based on valence band theory, oxygen molecule should show the diamagnetic character, but actually oxygen is paramagnetic. So oxygen molecule is paramagnetic. Therefore, experimentally it has been found that oxygen molecule can be attracted, liquid oxygen can be attracted by some external magnetic field. Therefore, this valence band theory cannot explain properly the magnetic character of oxygen or something similar like this. Therefore, scientists have found they have to find out some other theory or idea that can explain the paramagnetic or magnetic character of most of the molecules. Oxygen has even number of electrons, but oxygen is paramagnetic. This is from experiment, which means oxygen has unpaired electrons. Therefore, from valence band theory, if any molecule has unpaired electrons, then it will show paramagnetic character, but oxygen molecule has even number of electrons, however it has the paramagnetic character. Therefore, definitely it has some unpaired electrons which cannot explain with the valence bond theory. Let us see. Here is the orbital picture diagram of oxygen molecule. We know the atomic configuration or electronic configuration of oxygen molecule: 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1, 2pg1. Here we can see that oxygen has 8 electrons and 6 electrons in the outermost shell. When oxygen molecule is formed, here this is the oxygen molecule, orbital diagram of oxygen molecule. So when oxygen molecule is formed, we can see, I am not going very detail about the oxygen molecule diagram here because later we will show something more. So just here I am showing that oxygen molecule has 8 electrons in the outermost, this is the orbital diagram of oxygen molecule. So how many electrons are there in the molecular orbital? Here we have 4 electrons in the 2p orbital. Another oxygen atom has 4 electrons in the 2p orbital. Therefore, when it forms bond, when it makes a bond, it will have oxygen, these electrons, one electron from here will come here, one electron from here will come here, another one electron here, another electron here, another third and third here. So here. So these will make 3 bonding orbital or bonding molecular orbital, and here have 4 electrons, 4 electrons. So total we have 8 electrons, and we have 6 bonded electrons already, because we need to fill the electrons in the molecular orbital. Just first we will fill the minimum energy orbitals. Therefore we have another 2 electrons, one from here, another from here. So these 2 electrons go to the anti-bonding orbital as a lone pair or unpaired electron. Therefore from here we can see that the oxygen molecule has 2 unpaired electrons. Therefore easily we can explain that oxygen molecule is a paramagnetic molecule and it has the paramagnetic characteristics. Now what is the molecular orbital theory? Molecular orbital theory is a theory of the electronic structure of molecules in terms of molecular orbitals, which may spread over several atoms or the entire molecule. That means molecular orbital theory describes the structure of molecule. We will consider we know the electronic configuration of atoms, how the electrons are occupied in an atom. In similar way, the molecular orbital of a molecule will be occupied. That means first the lower energy orbital will be filled, then step by step it will go to the upper orbital, and also it follows the Pauli's exclusion principle just as an atom. Therefore it will have the one orbital cannot have more than 2 electrons, and this maximum 2 electrons will be in opposite spin. That is the Pauli's exclusion principle. Therefore we will have to follow the same rules as it is applicable for atoms. Therefore the molecular orbital theory explains the orbital will be filled just similarly like as atoms in different shell or different energy orbitals. Principles of molecular orbital theory. That means based on what idea or what theory or what proposition we are going to understand the molecular orbital theory. A molecular orbital is formed from a combination of atomic orbitals. That means when more than one atom, that means maybe 2, 3 or 4, any molecular orbital is formed from a combination of atomic orbitals. That means more than one, if we have several atoms, the molecular orbital will be combined to atomic orbitals will be combined to give the molecular orbitals. So as atoms approach each other, and their atomic orbitals overlap, molecular orbitals are formed. See here, these two hydrogen atoms, here this one hydrogen atom, another hydrogen atom. This hydrogen has 1s1 orbital electron, 1s1 electron for this atom. So when these atoms are coming close together, their atomic orbital will be overlapped. Their atomic orbital will be overlapped to make the new molecular orbital, like this way. Here this is the new molecular orbital of hydrogen molecule, and as atoms approach each other and their atomic orbitals overlap, molecular orbitals are formed. Therefore we can see the molecular orbitals are forming when these two hydrogen atoms are coming close together. Their molecular orbitals are forming by the overlap of atomic orbitals. Now what is the bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals? Bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals are described like this way, where the possibility of having the electrons, bonding electrons, the region or area where the bonded electrons are found mostly is considered as bonding orbital, and where the electrons are found for a short time or mostly where the electrons are not found, these are known as anti-bonding orbitals. Mostly we get the bonding orbitals by by addition of two different atomic orbitals. When these atomic orbitals come closer, like this way, when these atomic orbitals are coming closer, they are forming a new molecular orbital. This one, this is a molecular orbital, and here we can find that it has a overlap or common region. Therefore we can have a shape like this way, and this is homogeneous, this is symmetrical along the bond axis. This black line I have considered like as bond axis. Therefore for bonding orbital, this is symmetrical along the bond axis. But when these types of these atoms are coming closer, they have, if we subtract the bonding orbitals or atomic orbitals, then we had the common region here, and then this region is omitted. Here you can see this region is omitted. Therefore the anti-bonding orbital is found or obtained by subtracting the atomic orbitals. Therefore this is the anti-bonding orbital of two hydrogen atoms, and the possibility of having the electrons in this region is very low. Okay, the bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals, what we have shown that when two atomic orbitals are coming closer, then the summation of orbitals will give the bonding orbital, and subtraction of the atomic orbitals will give the anti-bonding orbital. So when we are getting here that these orbitals are coming close together, and these are the summation or sum of these atomic orbitals. Therefore we are getting these types of shape, and these are, here we have some common region, so we are getting the shape like this way where the electrons are available. But similarly in this case, when these atoms are coming closer, then if we subtract the orbitals, then we are getting some common region, and these common regions are subtracted. Therefore in this region the availability of electrons is very low, or in the center the availability of electrons is very low. So very less amount of time, or the availability of electrons in this region, that means this region is very low, so we are getting the anti-bonding orbital by this way. Now we will see what is the bond order. Bond order means how strongly the molecules are bonded, or how strongly the atoms are bonded in a molecule. So if we have the bond order 0, in that case we will consider we do not have the bond, or these types of molecule do not exist in nature, or naturally we cannot get these types of molecule. So here you can see the hydrogen molecule. The hydrogen molecule, we have the 1s1 and 1s1, two different hydrogen atoms. So this hydrogen atom can give the when the molecule is formed, that means the bond order, sorry, the molecular orbital of hydrogen molecule, one electron from this come here and another electron from here is coming here to make the 1s2 or sigma 1s. That means there, when we have shown that the two hydrogen atoms are coming close together, they are forming bond like this way. That means sigma bond. That means spherical. When spherical orbitals are coming close together, in which direction it is coming doesn't matter. What will happen? They will combine just head to head. If you bring two footballs or two basketball or two tennis ball, anything, then they have same shape, and if you bring any side, both side will give you same overlap or similar overlap. Therefore they will have the head to head overlap and they will form the sigma bond. So they are making the sigma 1s2 orbital, molecular orbital, and you do not have any more electrons to give in the antibonding orbital. This is the antibonding orbital. So the orbitals are completely in the bonding orbital. So if we want to find out the bond order of any molecule is defined as a formula, just very simple formula. How it is? The bond order equal half of the bonding orbital minus number of antibonding orbital. So just I am showing here the bond order is, this is half into number of bonding orbital minus number of antibonding orbital. So find out the bond order of hydrogen molecule. Half, this is the formula half, and number of bonding orbitals, this is number of bonding orbitals, that means 2, and number of antibonding orbitals, here we do not have any electrons because for hydrogen atom we have only one electron and one electron. So when the molecular orbital is filled, first the lower energized orbital will be filled. So this electron is coming here and this electron is coming here to form the molecular orbital, and this is the bonding orbital. So number of bonding orbitals is 2 and number of antibonding orbitals electrons in the number of electrons in the antibonding orbital is 0. So half into 2 minus 0 equal 1. So overall we are getting 1. So it has the bond order of 1. So this molecule can exist in the nature, or these types of molecule can be formed. What about helium? Here you can see, we know helium atom has 2 electrons in the first shell, 1s2. So here you can see the 1s2 and 1s2. This is the atomic helium, this is atomic helium. So when the two different helium atoms are coming closer, so one electron from here is coming here, another electron from here coming here to fill the sigma 1s orbital, that means the first orbital. Then rest of the electrons will go this orbital, and this one from here it will go here. So we are having the bond order, we are having the electrons in the two bonding orbital and anti-bonding orbital. So what is the bond order for this helium molecule? If we want to consider the bond order, then what will be the formula? Just half into number of bonding orbitals, number of bonding electrons, here Nb equal 2, and number of electrons in the anti-bonding orbital, this is the also 2. So 2 minus 2 0, and half into 0 is 0. Therefore from here we can easily consider this molecule, helium molecule, has the bond order 0, and these types of molecule do not exist. And already you know helium is an inert gas. Therefore helium cannot form the He, or that means helium 2 molecule. Like this type, two atoms cannot combine for helium, and these types of molecule are not exist. Then where the Nb and Na are number of bonding orbitals, already mentioned. So for hydrogen we have the bond order 1, and for helium we have the bond order 0. So the hydrogen molecule exists and helium molecule do not exist because it has the bond order 0, and hydrogen, it has bond order 1, so we can have the hydrogen molecule. Now bond orders need not to be whole numbers. One thing here, later we will show we can have the bond order 3 by 2, 5 by 2 or something like this. That means fraction. Always here we are getting the whole number. It is not mandatory that we always get the bond order 1, 2, 3 like this way. So we can have the bond order 3 by 2, 5 by 2 or something like this, or even half. What are the factors that determine orbital interaction? So if we want to have the molecular orbital theory, then we need to have the molecular orbital, that means atomic orbital, need to be overlapped. But what are the factors that determine the orbital interaction? That means how strongly the molecule will be formed, or how strongly the atomic orbitals will be overlapped. There are two different criteria. The energy difference between the interacting orbitals. Let us consider for this one. This is the lithium atom, the lithium molecule this is. So this is the lithium atom electronic configuration. So we know lithium atom has the electronic configuration 1s2 and 2s1. That means in the first shell lithium has 2 electrons, in the second shell lithium has 1 electron. So both the 1s and 2s are spherical. So they have some possibility they can overlap, but actually not, because for in case of lithium molecule, if we want to form the lithium molecule, then we always need to consider that when some orbitals are overlapping, then their energy, all the conditions, the electronic arrangement or the energetically, the electrons will be same. If the energy of the electrons are different, in that case then these orbitals will not overlap to give the molecular orbital. Now here you can see this 1s orbital has 2 electrons and this 2s orbital has 1 electron. So if the energy were same, then it has some possibility that 1 electron from 1s orbital can go here to form the bond. But actually the energy difference between these 2s and 1s is very large, because we know that for two different shell, 1s that means first shell, 2s means second shell. So the energy difference between these two shells are very large, or any shell, energy difference between first shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell, that means the energy level, this energy difference between these energy levels are very high. Therefore these types of overlapping is not possible, and the magnitude of their overlap, how much the orbitals are overlapping. If the orbitals are overlapping very little, in that case the interaction or the bond order or the energy, how strongly the orbitals will overlap, it depends on the amount of the orbitals overlap. If the orbitals are overlapping very large like this head to head or very strongly, in that case the molecule will be very strong, that means the orbital interaction will be very high. But if the orbitals are overlapping very little, or that means side by side, if you consider like this way, the orbitals are overlapping side by side, that means slightly, in that case the orbitals have the interaction very low, so the energy will be very low. Now we already have seen the lithium molecule configuration. Here you can see, if you want to find out the bond order, you can find here the bonding and anti-bonding, this is 0, so 2 minus 2 0, and here you can find the bond order, that means 2 minus 0 half into 2 minus 0, that means 2 into half, that means 1. So these types of molecule, lithium molecule can exist because lithium has the bond order, the lithium molecule has the bond order 1, so these types of molecule can exist. Then what about beryllium? Let's see. This is the lithium molecule, already I have shown in the previous slide. So exactly similar way, for beryllium, beryllium has one more electron in the 2s, here you can see. So lithium molecule has 1 electron and beryllium has 2 electrons. So here you can see 2s1, here 2s2. Similarly for here beryllium has another beryllium atom. So if you want to form the beryllium molecule, so exactly similar way, the electrons are coming here to fill the first molecular orbital, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, this are filled from 1s and 1s. Similarly for 2s, these electrons are coming here, one electron from here coming here and another electron from here coming here to form the molecular orbital or bonding orbital, and rest of the electrons, that means one electron coming here and another electron coming there. So we can see that the bonding and anti-bonding orbital has the same energy. So when one bond is formed, you can see this is the atomic orbital, this is the atomic orbital. Normally for any molecule, when any molecule or when any bond is formed, it releases some energy. So if you consider this atomic orbital releasing some energy, this is the energy, here you can see this axis is the energy. So the atomic energy orbital, atomic orbital for this beryllium or this electron a little bit higher. So when 2 electrons from here and here is coming to form a bond, in that case it releases some energy. So when these electrons are going to the anti-bonding, it needs some more energy. So the amount of energy released when it is bond is formed is exactly equal to the amount of energy when these types of bond is formed, that means anti-bonding. So the difference between this energy when bonded and the difference between these two, so what is the value? It is exactly equal and cancel out. As much as energy is released, that much energy is required for this. So overall we can see that the atomic orbital do not combine, or from the bond order you can see the bond order for this molecule is 2 minus 2 into half, that means number of electrons in the bonding orbital 2, the number of electrons in the anti-bonding orbital 2. So what will be the bond order? Half into 2 minus 2, or half into, we will see that bonding orbital we have 2 into 4 electrons and anti-bonding we have 4 electrons. So overall 4 minus 4 into half, that means 0 into half, that means 0. Exactly similar like as helium. What we have found for helium, the bond order is 0, so we cannot have the helium molecule. So here we can see that beryllium molecule also do not exist. So we can see the bond order is 0. Here you can see lithium has bond order 1 and beryllium has bond order 2 minus 2 or 4 minus 4. If you consider these electrons, then you can consider. Just we are not considering these two because already we know that 2 minus 2 is 0. So the bonding and anti-bonding are same. So now bonding along p orbitals. So p orbitals has the different shape. Let us consider 2pz orbital. This is the 2pz orbital. When this 2pz orbital, I am considering the pz orbital along the bond axis. Bond axis along, so 2pz orbital. So when this 2pz orbital is coming, they are forming a bond, and the electrons in this region, has the possibility to have more time. So they are in the bonded or in the bonding orbital, they have the electrons here. So when 2pz orbital is coming and they are forming head to head or face to face overlap, they are giving the sigma orbital or sigma molecular orbital. But when they are coming like this way in the anti-bonding, so they have some common region, so this region do not have the electron. By subtracting, so they are going in the sigma star on the or the anti-bonding orbital. So there are some possibility to have the electrons in this region and this region, but in the center we do not have any electrons. So the sigma 2pz are forming the bonding and anti-bonding orbital. So this is the shape of the bonding and this is the anti-bonding. What about the side by side overlap? If you consider this is 2px, when 2px orbitals are coming together, what happens? Here side by side overlap is possible. Here you can see. So the shape of the electron orbital, molecular orbital for this one, we can have the electrons here or here. Similarly, when these two orbitals are overlapping and like this way, you can see in the center we do not have any electrons. So the electrons have some possibility to have in this region for a short time or very ultimately we are not having any electrons in this anti-bonding orbital. So the bond order, if we want to find out, we need to have the electrons in this molecular orbital subtract this number of electrons. So we will find out that way. Now we will have the, already we have mentioned about the molecular orbital of oxygen molecule. Now I have some question. Here give the molecular orbital diagram of the oxygen molecule. Here already I have shown in the previous slide when we have mentioned the limitation of valence bond theory. That time already we have shown the molecular orbital of oxygen. So give the orbital diagram of the oxygen molecule. Is the molecular substance is diamagnetic or paramagnetic? Here you can see this is the molecular orbital diagram of oxygen. So here you can see we have two unpaired electrons. In that case we can consider we do not have though we have even number of electrons, therefore we have unpaired electrons. So if any molecule has unpaired electrons, then it will be attracted by external electric field, therefore that will be paramagnetic, and the oxygen molecule has the unpaired electrons and oxygen is paramagnetic. What is the electronic configuration? Electronic configuration of this molecule, just mention the number. This is the 2s, sigma 2s, and sigma star 2s. Already I have mentioned how the electrons are overlapping in the molecular orbital. From here one electron coming here, from here another electron coming here, from here and one electron going there, from there another electron coming there. So we will arrange by this way based on the energy. Increasing energy sigma 2s first and then sigma star 2s, then pi 2p4 we can consider pi 2p4 and then sigma 2p2. Similarly pi star 2p2, or you can clearly distinguish pi 2px, pi 2py and then sigma 2pg and pi 2px1, pi star 2px1 and pi star 2py1. You can consider like this way, and here we do not have any electron because here we have only 4 electrons. So 4 electrons can be 4 electrons, 4 electrons. So total we have 8 electrons in the 2p. So we can have only 3 and these 2. So we can have 8 electrons, therefore we do not have any electrons in this here, or even we do not have electrons in the field. Sorry. So the electronic configuration you will have to arrange by this way, based on the energy sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, pi 2p4, sigma 2p2 and pi star 2p2. So this is the, here you can see kk. What does it mean kk? kk, that means inner shell electronic configuration. We are not showing here because already we know that the oxygen has 1s2 electrons, so it will have sigma 2s and sigma 1s2 and sigma star 1s2, these two configurations. So this inner shell configuration will be given as kk. So we are not showing the total configuration because for larger molecule we may have many electrons, so we will be considering almost or mostly outermost shell. So we will show just only this portion, not in the outermost shell. Now we have 2 unpaired electrons, so the bond order 2 unpaired electrons, so we are mentioning or describing oxygen molecules as paramagnetic. And what is the bond order? You can see bond order, how many electrons in the bonding orbital, 2 and 4, 6 and these are 2 also, 8. So we have 6 plus 2, 8 bonding electrons, so 8, and non-bonding or anti-bonding, this is 2 and this 2, 4. So we have the bond order half into 8 minus 4, that means equal 2. Therefore the oxygen molecule has 2 bond order 2, that means it can have double bond or 2 single bonds. So this so the oxygen molecule is quite stable. Now write down the molecular orbital diagram for nitrogen monoxide. Till now we have seen the molecular orbital diagram of homonuclear molecules. Homonuclear molecules, that means if we have similar electrons or similar atomic orbitals, then it is easier to consider the molecular orbitals of that molecule. But if we have different number of atoms, or different number of electrons, or heteronucleus, that means heteronucleus means 2 different types of atoms, they have different number of electrons and different number of protons. So if we consider about heteronucleus, now we are considering about the nitric oxide, nitrogen monoxide. So write the molecular orbital diagram for nitrogen monoxide. What is the bond order of NO, or what is the bond order of nitric oxide? Let us consider, or we keep nitrogen in one side and oxygen in another side. Exactly in similar way what we have mentioned about the oxygen or any other molecule, hydrogen, helium or lithium, beryllium, anything. So just we are keeping the nitrogen atom in one side. This is nitrogen atom, the electronic configuration of nitrogen atom. We know one nitrogen atom has 5 electrons. So 5 electrons we can put like this way, 2s2 and 2p3, and here 2s2, and oxygen has only 6 electrons, 2s2 and 2p4. So if you fill electrons from here to is coming here, that means for bonding and anti-bonding. From here you can give electrons, one electron coming here, another electron coming here, one electron coming here, and another electron coming here, and then finally we have one electron here and one electron here. So we have these 6 electrons. So we have in the 2p orbital 3 and 4, 7 electrons. That means we have only one electron more. So we have one electron more. This one electron will move here. So easily we can give the electron here. So what is the bond order? You can see from here the bond order will be bonding electron 2 and 6. 2 and 6 means, that means we are getting 8. Bonding electron 8 and anti-bonding electron 2 and 1, 3. So 8 minus 3 divided by 2. Here you can see the bond order 8 minus 3 equal 5 by 2. So we are getting the bond order 5 by 2. This is and not a whole number, and still this molecule is existable, or we can find these types of molecule. So we have one unpaired electron. Therefore we can easily say that this molecule is paramagnetic. So we can have the molecule or bond order from here. This is 5 by 2 and the molecule is paramagnetic. We can have the unpaired electron. Therefore this molecule is paramagnetic. And this is the end of today's class. If you have any question or comment, then you are welcome. But already